Streaming from Madison, Wisconsin and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Straight to your personal devices. Available on all major platforms and YouTube. This is the Armchair Analysts podcast. And here are your hosts, Ace and Johnny.
Welcome, one and all, to this week's episode of Armchair Analysts podcast. I'm your host, Johnny. That is... who?
Ace.
Ace. Living that springtime life, smelling that sweet air, hearing the birds.
Spring
Oh!
No, and this is an homage of our kicker of the last 2 years, maybe, Dan Bailey.
All right.
Had a hell of a run there.
Yep, a lot of important field goals missed. Good for him.
His $4 million was not gonna. Sorry, I'll let you finish, but yeah, we weren't gonna retain that.
All right, season 2 continues on. I think we've already beat the crap out of this before, but we'll promote it one more time. Maybe 12 more, we'll see. But we got this new website. I'm pretty proud of it. A lot of good stuff on there. We're gonna keep adding more to that. Armchairpodcast.com. Ace put all of his hard work. He actually didn't get a date for 2 months while he was putting it together. So please give it a look. Check it out. You can flame us. You can do whatever you want there.
Send your friend, your single lady friends my way too. No.
It's not a dating website, sir. Sorry, that doesn't work like that. But
You're
no,
right.
it's good. If you like the show, please check it out. A lot of good stuff there. And Ace actually may be introducing a nice little landing page that he just made for a bracket challenge that we'll be hosting. So.
Yep. Something that happens every March, except for 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Asterisks.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the things I kind of want to cover here just a wee bit in the show. But we'll start with my random rant. We'll do a little regional roundup, talk about the Badgers, that very, very interesting game last week against Iowa. Packers franchise tag being used, Vikings make some cuts, and Ace going to talk Gophers, which I don't think they really have anything of note to talk about, but he found something. He dove deep into the Google machine to find something, so we're going to let him run with it. I'm going to cover the Players' Championship for PGA, and then the tee-off topic is going to be something that I'm very excited about, opening day in Major League Baseball.
You? Just you?
Well, you don't even like baseball. No, it's actually the other way around. Ace is the only two things that he knows very well. No, it's just baseball. It's just baseball.
I was gonna say,
kidding.
please be nice there.
No, I'm just kidding. It's he's been the biggest baseball fan that I know for many years. So we'll let him champion that. But yeah,
certainly tell.
With all the I don't really care for football, but so random rant. This is something that no matter where I am in any workplace, no matter where I am in my career, whether I was still like in college at like a part-time job or even my job now, it still is a challenge. Interdepartmental communication. If you're in even a decent-sized company, there's going to be at least a couple facets. At least a couple parts of the company, and they're going to need to talk to each other every once in a while. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but for some reason, it is just the most challenging thing ever to get multiple departments to have good communication. And I understand working from home makes it infinitely harder, right? There's no doubt about that. But when you're dealing with, tens of thousands of dollars, or, numerous people, it's just
invested in messaging
blows my mind. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like now, I mean, you can ignore an email. I've ignored an email. It can be done really easily. Calls. I mean, but we have so many different ways of communicating with each other now. Whether you have like some sort of managed like communication software platform like you were talking about. I mean, Teams, Slack. Like you have a lot of different options there. I mean, email is obviously one. You can do like virtual meetings, all that kind of stuff. Plus, good old fashioned phone call. I mean, these cell phones do a lot of stuff, but they can make calls too. So I have the phone app on my cell phone. But it just seems to me that, like, for whatever reason, I see it, and it's becoming like a big problem because we're so used to being able just to swing by somebody's office or do whatever and get somebody's attention, and now it's like starting to build up to the point where it's becoming a problem. Now, like, we have to address it, and it's making people feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's like, well, this should never really have gotten to a head. But
what's your biggest pain point? At least they do.
Transparency, I think. If you're in a hole, I mean, just come right out with it. Because my assumption is that someone else is probably in a similar situation. So, getting it out, air it out. Let's go. Let's get everything on the table. Figure it out. I think most modern workplaces are pretty constructive in that way, where if you're honest and you have issues and you need assistance, there will be people there that will support you. But
especially with diversity too, it's almost got to be more paramount to communicate effectively.
So it's really a random rant, but it's just something that kind of reared its ugly head today and reminded me of all the years. I mean, because I worked at a country club for actually where I'm getting married and where Ace will be standing up. But it's just like we had the pro shop, we had the golf course, we had food and bev, we had like a kids club, there was a pool, so there's all these different departments, and it's just like you got to get them all on the same page, because when you're doing these events, it involves almost all of them, right? So there's so many things slip through the cracks, and then people just get all frustrated. It's like, oh, we don't have time for this. It's like, well, you should have made time before. But yeah, it's messed up, but that's just the way the world works, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it, man. So let me hear all about them Vikings. Made some cuts. It's that time of year. We talked about it. Like last week was just the beginning. Technically, the new league year hasn't even started yet, so they've kind of been, kind of slowly getting into. You hear about some trades that'll come up. You hear some rumors about this, but we got franchise tags. We got another round of cuts.
Yep.
So I mean, we're getting there, man.
Doesn't the league year start middle of March? Somehow that always stood out.
Yeah, it's like Patty's Day, I think, or right around that. Yeah, it's next week. Yeah.
The Vikings, like I alluded to earlier on, they cut $4 million off the cap. Basically, Dan Bailey told them to more or less go take a hike. I don't know. My guess is they probably. I don't even think they went to him and negotiated. Hey, you want to take a reduced salary? Because it's like, dude, do you want to take the league minimum? Because that's probably what we're only going to pay you.
Do you want to be paid in bits of string?
I don't want to poke fun at Bailey, because I think the dude's had an amazing career, and that's not my point. My point is, why are we've had such a problem with kickers. I don't care what the hell you got to pay the guy to keep him. We need consistency at that position. And so I was going to throw up a video, and I think I still might, on our clips of the week. This kid destroying. I'm not sure how old he is, but I know he's not big, got a big following on YouTube.
And it's like 1.5 million views on that 2-year-old video.
Yeah. The one video I wanted to play was him kicking all of this Jets kickers' missed field goals plus a handful of others in the 2019 season. But it's like, my point is, it's getting to that where if they're going to really cut guys that are being, had successful careers, and I know it's all about money at the end of the day, just freaking get somebody off the street if he shows he's worth it.
My question to you: how did he have like a couple years on his deal, or what was the reasoning?
They I think I thought they only signed him 1 year, and so they extended him last year. So I think this is only his second or third season. I'm pretty sure this was his second full season with us.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there's always the gamble of cutting him with his deal, eating the cap, and then letting him go to free agency and then re-signing him for cheaper. It's a pretty big gamble, but a lot of teams need kickers, like you were saying, consistency. I mean, you're not going far in the playoffs or even very far in the NFL unless you're making field goals consistently. This isn't Madden. You can't go for it on every fourth down and not just accept field goals. You have to kick field goals.
And I know it sounds ridiculous to offer a kicker, over $3 million, but whatever the case.
Not really, especially a tenured one.
Yes, yeah.
But you guys play in a dome. It's not over half his games are going to be indoors anyway. Who wouldn't want to kick there? I mean, other than living in Minnesota, but I mean, not winning overall, a lot.
Yeah, I think overall we have really doubted that whole special teams aspect the last handful of years. I mean, how many times did we talk last year about us giving up a return touchdown or a blocked? There was multiple games with
Packers
consecutive
too, bro.
Blocked punts, missed extra points, field goals. I digress, though.
That's a good point though, because it's the Packers have been looking for a return man. They finally got Tyler Ervin, Swervin Irvin. It was great. He was doing great. Got hurt, and it's well, shit, now what do we do? This is the first time we actually had someone that can return punts and kickoffs that hasn't been garbage. And then so we go out and we get Tavon Austin.
Yep.
And the first meaningful kick return he has, he fumbles it. So it's painful. It's painful. And honestly, like when you're thinking about like your team, that's not something you really like have in the forefront of your mind, right? Like that's not. It's like, oh well, if our offense does this and our defense does this, you just expect that special teams will at absolute minimum just be okay. You know, when they're bad, when they're bad, it just detracts from the rest of the team and it makes it so much harder to play. Like, throwing. Don't get me wrong, throwing a pick six is probably one of the worst things you could ever do in a game. Yeah. But like, if you allow a kickoff return, that's pretty much the same thing. You lose a possession. Yep. You know, and you don't get to control the clock. You get down points. Like it's just
correct. At the end of the game, there's nothing good to be talked about special teams. The only thing that comes out of it is something negative usually. So it's like if you can look at it as when no negative news came outside or like we played a C+ game, good. Even keeled, you're good. Perfect. Yeah. And we have not had that for years. The Vikings.
The crazy thing is, it's like, you know, everyone's going on and on about like the Packers and what they're going to do in free agency, the draft, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And yes, we did hire a new special teams coach, but we've been churning through every 2 to 3 years as they're not doing it because I'm not even joking. Like it's probably been, I think each one gets like 2 years to kind of prove themselves. And if they can't do anything, then it's just like, well, guess that's it later, guys, and bring in somebody else. So it's like maybe it's the personnel too. Like obviously coaching has something to do with it, but like we're having like the same people on special teams. So it's like I think maybe just the mentality of it, because like they're never going to be aggressive, they're never going to be great with it. But it's like, can we just not be terrible at it? But that's not. I mean, you don't go for that in the draft. It's like, hey, let's get a guy that can really return kicks. You know, that's not really something that people gun for. You're not in special teams. Occasionally, you can go for someone that's like noteworthy for their special teams play, but like that's not really a common go-to. Like it's like let's sign an edge rusher, let's sign a wide receiver. Like that's not something that really comes to the forefront.
Yeah, you're bringing up a good point too, and overall, like just trying to finance a team or trying to build a team around what is the current like model and whatever what the positions are. And the one player that came to mind as our best special teams player over like the last decade is
Patterson.
Who do you think it is? Yeah, Cordarrelle Patterson.
Dude, that guy. Oh wait, so we're going super off topic here. We're going super off topic, but like Cordarrelle Patterson, dude, that is his niche. Like he can't catch a pass really. If you hand him the ball or have the ball coming directly to him with no interference, he'll figure the rest out. He's fast enough, he's strong enough. But like every team he's gone to, like the Patriots made him a running back. The Vikes kind of used him a little bit like that too, kind of like with Percy Harvin. The Bears did it. Like every team he's been on, he's been the return specialist and hand this guy the ball and see what he does. You know, do a bubble screen, get him the ball out in open space quickly, do some sort of like a jet sweep with him or whatever, just to get him the ball and just see what happens. But like there's not a lot of players like that. That's why that guy still has a career. Like
I was gonna say,
there's not a lot of players like that, and they don't survive a lot because they're getting destroyed. But anyway, so the Packers, they ended up not. We talked about this a little bit, but the Packers didn't end up using the franchise tag in Aaron Jones, which had like an outside shot that I thought it would happen. But I mean, I think in all honesty,
weren't surprised.
No, but like it's just it not happening just made me sad because it's like, okay, well now it's almost inevitable because they're trying to find someone to take Preston Smith in that contract, which no one really wants to, so we're probably gonna have to cut him. Also something we thought was gonna happen, but with just this is a really rich running back draft, so I can definitely see them picking up somebody through that and then have them. Still not sure about Jamal Williams, but I mean with AJ Dillon, I think they're kind of looking just to do like another 1-2 punch and just draft and save money that way. But it's hard. Like you get attached to these players. He's been, you got to see him kind of rise up through his, his first year and a half. You watch him grow up.
Sombrero. I even liked the sombrero.
They're both Williams and Jones are very likable guys, which makes it harder when you come down to the offseason, where it's just like, it's business, man. It's NFL, it's business, like it's contract trades. We got to make the cap finally got finalized now, so now people have like an idea of what they need to do. A lot of restructuring coming up, whatever, yada yada yada. But Packers, if they retain a couple of their main players, I'll be happy. I don't see them getting anybody else. There's just it's just not feasible. Did you have anything else with the Vikes? that you want to chat about?
No, nothing specific about the Vikes.
Nah.
I don't know why I chose to rant about special teams.
I
and
know.
all things.
Well, here we are. Now we've wasted half our show. I'm just kidding. So I have to like it would be I would be remiss if I didn't talk about that Iowa Madison game. So so this I remember saying maybe a month ago when I saw the last 3 games in the schedule, I was like, okay, this is it's a rough stretch, and they were already like having issues finding their identity on the court. So it's I wasn't super hopeful. Purdue might have been the one game we might have stolen. That didn't work out very well, and so we end the season with Iowa in Iowa, a team who's playing really, really well, a team who's shooting the 3 ball really, really well. First half, their best 3-point shooter gone, and then I think it's their second highest scorer on the team gone. And then all of a sudden, like we actually are kind of getting momentum, like we're doing well, keeping in, and then they have a giant on their team. I don't know, Garza. You might have heard of him. You might have heard of him. That guy, I swear, like Potter, bless his soul, played the game of his life against that guy.
Yeah, he's athletic.
Offensively, I thought it was a pretty good matchup. But Garza's Garza. He's gonna get his. And I thought, like, even on the other side of the floor, it's like, you know what? They're kind of wearing him down. He looked a little tired. And then you come back, and he just, like... I don't even know what to say. Like, the guy, he was just... Not unguardable, because, like, he did have some issues. But, like, his team is so good that, like, they were able to, like, capitalize on the double team from Garza. Which, that's what they've been doing all season. But it's like, the Badgers play a different game.
Yeah, he kicks it out, rotate like they rotate.
He does, but at the same time, like he has a shot too. He can shoot the ball, so it's a different game. And I don't know. To be honest, I expected a loss, but I am so excited because I think this is the first time that I saw the Badgers play like a full game, like full first half, full second half. Obviously, there was ups and downs. Trice again just cannot get it going. But I mean, everyone else played really well. I think they have to make another game plan around Trice because he's been cold for like a month now, And when he's your go-to guy in the clutch when you need to make a shot, I mean, he's so cold. He's ice cold. So I'm excited. It was a good game. It was a hard-fought game. They played well on both ends. It was well coached. A huge controversy at the end with some of the calls. Davison, who's I can see both sides of it, but I'm gonna pull up the tweet actually.
Officiating let them down. Do you think they get out of the number one? Who do you think makes it further in the tournament? Iowa or the Badgers?
Iowa. Well, I guess it depends on how that one guy is that rolled his ankle because that looked pretty brutal. But they have, I think that's their third player. On their like regular rotation that's injured now. So I mean, if they can get healthy in the next week and a half, I think they'll be okay. But let me just read some of the tweets of the people that were responding to this game. Wisconsin, Iowa's conclusive proof that replay review is out of control. Changes required. To the officials working today's game between Wisconsin and Iowa, congratulations, you successfully ruined a heck of a college basketball game. Sincerely, America. This is my favorite. The last final minute of Wisconsin, Iowa took 20 minutes. That is not hyperbolic at all. That is accurate. And it might even have been a little bit more. And it just keeps going. This Iowa-Wisconsin game was incredible until the officials decided to take over. Again, I've always been the proponent of, you know what, if it always comes down to officials, then maybe you need to put your team in a better place. This was a hard-fought game. It really was fought tooth and nail, and it came down to it. And you know what? Yeah, the officiating definitely affected their gameplay, like the flow of the game by a ton. It also cost them, at least 4 points.
Which way
and
was
possession.
there a definitive overall? Were the calls lot one-sided?
For most of the game, I think they were very in favor of Iowa. But that's not something I'm going to take to heart. That's not something I'm going to take to heart. But at the same time, like it was just concerning that in the last minute, as the Badgers were trying to get their flow on. But at the same time, they missed several shots to go ahead before that happened. They got a couple easy looks that didn't go down. It's like you know what, you make those, then this isn't an issue. So
Yeah.
as much as
that's
I don't like the officiating dictating a game like that, but at the same time, like, they had opportunities to seal prior to that. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Did you get a chance to look at the Big Ten conference tournaments being played at the Colts Stadium, Lucas Oil? The backdrop is incredibly deep, so a team like Iowa could get upset in the first round that relies on a lot of barrage of threes. The Gophers are more dribble drive penetration, but the backdrop's crazy. So I think Madison, or God, you said Madison earlier. Now the Badgers have a pretty good chance. They're a lot more athletic than I've seen in recent years. Because I watched a little bit of that Iowa game, but not all of it. Unfortunately, they looked way more athletic than what I've seen.
Like I said, I think this is like the first time where like the ball movement was a lot better.
Yes.
You could actually see them hustling on fast breaks. You could see them hustling on defense. It is kind of weird that you noticed that, because I'm not going to say lethargic, but it just didn't feel like the effort was there for the full game. You know, I mean, it's out of the 40 minutes, I could probably say, you know, they probably put it in a good 30, 32.
Dude, but you've talked about that before too.
Yeah.
Where you've talked in past episodes how it's like maybe the first half, maybe the second half, or just lapses that they've had over the course of the season.
They're not a first half team or a second half team. They're just a team. But that's why. But that's the thing. It's like, you know what? Like they've been kind of figuring it out. You know, I mean, Potter. Technically he's coming off the bench, but the guy's putting up starting numbers every single game now. Like he's playing amazing on both ends of the floor, and there's no way we do anything in. Mark my words, we don't do jack in the tournament if Potter doesn't have good games. Yeah. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like Davison gets hot, that's great. You know, you got defense. I mean, the young kids on the team right now are playing great D, but you got to hit your shots. You're not point swing games. Like, you got to play D, but you got to score buckets too. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. Did you want to go into Gophers still? I know you had some diehard.
No, just real quick. Richard Pitino's definitely out. Apparently they made an internal decision, but they haven't actually announced it yet, which is so stupid because somehow information got leaked out to the out to the media somehow. So Pitino's out. The talk is that our Timberwolves head coach Flip Saunders is a candidate to take over.
Did you say
I think
Flip?
I'm going to talk about.
Did you say Flip?
Oh shoot, sorry, Ryan Saunders, his son. Rest in peace, Flip. Rest in peace, Flip. That's all I'm going to say.
Anything about Kevin Garnett? I thought Kevin Garnett was going to get the team.
No, let me talk about the Wolves and Kevin Garnett's a different time. There's a lot of pent up stuff, and I really want to get to the Players Championship golf.
I actually talked to Ace on the phone last night, and he was very worked up about this. So I just tried to bait him a little bit, and he made the right call. All right, You need to get me update on this Players Championship. This is big stuff here.
Players Championship taking place at a well recognized course, the TPC Sawgrass in Florida. Remember that 17th hole island? Did you ever play Tiger Woods golf? Maybe when you were a kid? Did you?
No, I played golf in Florida more recently than you did, though.
So let me tell you a little inside scoop. I heard on the radio today that the hole is playing at about 107 yards. What that means overall, the course is playing very, very short this week, so there's a lot of players in contention. I did a little research. There's one key note, though, about that. Even though it's playing short, there's the par fours, there's a handful of them that are close to 500 yards, which is long, very long. So because of that, and because of the fact that my guy, Brooks Koepka, is out due to a knee injury, Colin Morikawa is probably my best bet this week. He won it last year, I think, in San Francisco, so it's really, really tough to duplicate. But he's a very, very good long iron, or I should say, mid-iron player. So these par fours, the distances, I think it's going to be perfect for that sort of setup. John Rahm's usually always a favorite around this time. I think so is Justin Thomas, all the big-name players. Scotty Scheffler's kind of a lower guy. Victor Hovland's coming on, but the Players Championship golf is back. It's been back, but it's like We're getting into the springtime. The Masters is right around the corner. It's kind of a good feeling.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm already getting emails from courses talking about how like their opening schedules and stuff. Like, I'm like, man, I gotta get my clubs out of storage. But I'm excited. I think I'm gonna hit the driving range next week, and I think get some of that rust off quick because I got vouchers for different courses already. Like because I got COVID when we had like that warm spree. So I made tee times. I'm like, hey, like I can't come. Oh, why? I have COVID. Like, so.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, so they give me these vouchers. So I got some golf to get in, but yeah, that's exciting, and that's one of the nice things. Like the two best things about spring, golf, and what? Oh, baseball opening day. You say? Well, what a segue that is to our tee-off topic, sir. I already tweeted this because they had an article on ESPN just kind of citing the opening day, and I am very, very excited that not only will there be fans on opening day, I'm going to call it Miller Park because it's Miller Park. American Family Field.
All year, yeah.
Home opener, April 1st. First who? Oh, the Twins. What? So, and they're going to allow about 25% capacity in the stadium. So we're going to have...
Oh, sweet. Yes.
10,500. So I'm assuming that majority of the people are going to be season ticket holders or people that opted in, that didn't opt out last year are going to get first dibs. So I'm sure they'll be resold for some unimaginable amount. Maybe I'll just buy a ticket or I'll just buy a pass and I'll just tailgate for as long as they'll let me.
No, I was just going to ask, are they actually allowing tailgating? I assume because they're socially distanced.
I mean, they have the parking lot is just massive. Like, so I can't imagine that they wouldn't allow it, especially since we didn't get to do it last year. You know, that was it was what you had a big anniversary for the Brewers, and it was also the last year it was Miller Park. No fans, doesn't matter. What do you get? Okay, so now we have this year. And also, okay, so they have to allow tailgating, but B, I'm kind of curious because they've been very strict about people not just sitting out in their parking lot getting drunk for hours, which used to be my favorite thing. Like, I would go in, get kicked out of the game, and then I'd come back out and just get drunk and hang out with people. So,
yeah, that's Wisconsinite. That's like
yeah.
Well, we could tell you more. We could devote a whole podcast to crap we've seen at Miller Park. Oh yeah.
No, it's mostly the same. Drunk guy gets kicked out. Drunk guy gets mad. Drunk guy gets drunk elsewhere. They're all character flaws here that are coming to surface. But I'm okay with it. I've come to accept it. But I mean, they were very strict about it. Like I think. Typically, okay, so on an average game, like just a normal matchup, not like Cubbies or anything like that, but like a regular season matchup, it would be like, oh well, the first pitch is coming up, like let's finish this game of beer pong, that's fine, whatever. Okay, well second inning starting, okay, we'll start wrapping it up, and then by the third it's like okay, like you're in the stadium or you're very close to it, and then eventually. There were apparently there's so many people that were still tailgating that they ended up just having them, like people like the little rent-a-cops on bikes. They would say, okay, like you need to pack up now or you will be kicked out. So I think they ended up doing it by like the second inning or third or beginning of the third. You had to be out or in the stadium, which that's their prerogative. But now with so few people being allowed to be in the game, and then not being able to tailgate the last year, I think they got to kind of loosen the laws there a little bit.
Or what you get is alcohol mixed with lockdown state for months / year, which means anxious, people equals not.
I'm gonna let loose the beast.
Not a good scenario.
# free the beast. Yeah, I mean, even yesterday, like we had a little after work get together, and it was the first time I'd gone to a bar just to drink, and I don't know how long. Like I've gone to a bar grill for dinner to eat, but like I went here for the sole purpose of hanging out with colleagues and drinking, which, now it's like, well, I haven't tailgated in over a year either, so. Can you imagine the devastation? And I'm just one Wisconsinite. Like imagine what a whole army of us could do. So I'm curious.
We still haven't. Sorry, the Twins still haven't been told if we're going to be able to allow fans or not. They still haven't been given the go-ahead.
They plan on it, and I think they're planning on
Yeah.
20%. But your guys' opening day is a little bit further out, so they have a little more time to game plan. But yeah, I think from what I read, I think majority there's some that are a little more hesitant, so they're doing like a lower percentage. But I think the highest I saw was 50%. And then the lowest I think I saw was like 10%. I think that was the Tigers. So no, I think everyone's pretty. What is that face? What is that face?
I'm trying to figure out Tigers. I'm surprised why it's Detroit. I'm just thinking like.
I think they're still trying to.
But,
I don't know. No, well they already know that's probably going to be the average attendance anyways. It's the Tigers, bro. So.
yeah, you're right. How can we make this seem like there's actually?
Well, we're really
fans?
concerned. No, you have 8% fans on average, so now you're raising the bar. No.
Yeah, how do we? You're right.
I gotta get the jab in somewhere.
Exactly.
But no, I'm really excited. I'm gonna try. Like I think opening day. I think it's on a Thursday. Yeah, it's on a Thursday. So.
Ours is a week after yours. Ours is we play Seattle.
I knew it was a ways away, but yeah, you guys have another week, so interesting. Well, I mean, you're opening here, so you probably have 3 games here, and then a couple days rest, then a travel day, and then you start probably with the Mariners. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yep. Good
so I think it's everyone's pretty much in the same boat. Like you might be unsure of how many fans, but we want fans in the seats. You know. You want people supporting the team and getting back into it. So I'm glad everyone's at least on that same page.
If people are concerned about the whole mask situation, being outside around vitamin D, the sunlight is actually good for you.
Good. Well, you're in healthcare. You're in healthcare, so I take your I take your advice.
Put up the quotation marks.
He's just in healthcare, everybody. So what he says is law.
Oh, geez, wow. Slap the cuffs on now.
I will say though that even starting at 25%, I think they can ramp it up pretty quickly. As the next layer of vaccines go out, or the next layer of people are allowed to have vaccines and more. I mean, obviously the thing is like people are still getting COVID during this time, like right now. Like people are getting vaccinated, but people are still getting it. Obviously not that much. So I'm hoping that we'll get that ramp up. I don't think we'll ever get to 100 until probably after the All-Star break, but
that's an interesting thought because you're talking about logistics too.
I mean, dude, it's you're packed in like sardines. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like it's like having a massive music festival. Like you're butt to butt, man. And obviously you're going to be drinking, you're going to be talking, you're going to be screaming. You got droplets going all over the place, right?
Oh, so stop it!
We had COVID, man. Like, I'm not paranoid about it, but I know that a lot of people are, and that's how they're gonna think about it. And then those people are gonna be the ones that are gonna rabble rouse when they try to raise the attendance levels. So, dude, honestly, deep down, I just want to watch some effing baseball. I don't.
I agree.
I want my butt in a seat. I want to have a cold beer in my hand. I want some peanuts in the other, and I just want to hear the sound of the bat. I want to hear the organ. I just want to maybe even I don't even care how bad the intro songs are when they're doing the walk up to the to bat. I don't even care. Play whatever. I don't care.
I think of it like this. The Twins, we basically as Minnesota fans, unless you're like a diehard hockey fan, we literally are hibernating in winter. Because nobody cares about the Wolves. The Vikings don't play in January.
What about the Wild, bro? What about the Wild?
That's what I mean. Unless you're like a huge hockey fan, you're rooting for the Wild. You're hibernating until springtime comes around, and it's like That's why I love the Twins. I mean, I grew up playing the game, obviously, but it's
in healthcare and former childhood baseball star.
Hey, I once hit a grand slam up the middle, literally just kept going because it didn't have a fence, the field we were playing on when I was like 4th grade. Fun fact.
Very fun fact. Very fun.
Okay, now I got to capture where I was at.
Nope. Cut off.
Viking. No,
Cut off.
did I say Viking? No, Twins. Twins. Yes, we're in a lull basically all winter. I'm excited for this team too because we're gonna have. I'd be surprised if we don't have a top 5 defense with Andrelton Simmons now at shortstop.
Actually, I think I looked at the power rankings, and I think they had the Twins. I think you guys were 6 or 7. I think. Overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, we got a good team this year, and it's one of the few that we actually think can contend for a championship. So, booyah!
You also said that last year, if I remember correctly. I think it was what you guys were. I think it was 15 games in, and you guys were like, we're number 1 in the MLB. Blah, blah, blah.
Bumba squad, dude, as they call us.
That's the best part. No, that's what you call it. That's what you call it. Right. This is the best part, though, because we could be blindly optimistic, right? We don't know what's going to happen. The Brewers rated in the bottom part of the MLB, but you know what? You never know. Hey, there's so many unsung players that you've never heard about that are waiting just to be explored and have a couple good games, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this guy needs to be in the starting rotation. Uh-oh.
I apologize for shaking that. I wanted to see the over-under win total so that we could
I honestly, the last time I looked was probably in February, so I haven't taken a peek at it.
Twins 88.5, and the Brewers are at 82.5? Oh, my God. Okay.
That's better than I thought it would be.
Over on the Twins, I'm taking the under on the Brewers.
The only reason you're taking that confidently is because the Brewers might not actually average a run per game this season. I could see it. There's a chance that they might have more games played than runs scored because even okay. So Hader still he obviously played today, so he's not. They were rumored to be shopping him. He's staying. That's great. The bullpen is probably it's not awful, but it's not going to be enough to carry the team. I think the defense actually will be a lot better than people expect, and it can't be worse than last year. But I think they're gonna have such a hard time scoring runs, dude.
That's not a good recipe because at the end of the day, you need defense, timely hitting, and good pitching to win. So.
Oh, you mean 3 facets of the game? The only 3 ways to play.
I'm coming out with a book next year. No.
But that's kind of what it boils down to. But again, like the preseason opinion doesn't matter at all. Like we're just doing this to buy time until opening day, right? It's just like any other sport. You can speculate all you want. They could come out, they could win the first 10 games and score like 6 runs a game. You know, like
exactly.
There's no way, and spring training, granted, it's nice just to see baseball, but it's not indicative of how the season's going to go. I mean, I don't think it's going to... With the way that they're fluctuating... I mean, they scored 13 runs yesterday. I just said the team might not have as many runs as game played, but they dropped 13 yesterday. So it's like, well, you could be optimistic. You can always be optimistic.
Exactly.
Also, they only scored 1 run today, but I mean, that's...
okay. We'll figure.
That's neither here nor there, but all right. Final thoughts. You got opening day coming up. You're going to be in the stands for sure.
No, not true.
No,
that might not be true. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like. If I can, I would like to go for sure because opening day is going to be fun. I'm going to have a nice fat check from the proceeds of my house sale. I may not even be. I could be living right outside there for all I know. Outside Target Field.
Are you homeless? No, I have a car. Thank you very much. No,
you see that Kia
cool.
Stinger?
It'll be cool. If I can't get my butt in a seat, I'm definitely gonna try my damnedest to tailgate. But I'll wait until they start chatting about that. But it'll be interesting. It'll be something to kind of follow up on too.
We could. We've been. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the show, but broadcasting live somewhere. Maybe we might put more thought into that at some point for like a potential 1,000 download visit trip. Maybe we'll talk. I can't believe those are my final thoughts.
You know what? I think I need to make up something just to overlap that. So we've been pumping up our website, armchairpodcast.com. We're really excited about it. But I know Ace really wants to get his bracket challenge going, so we'll tweet out something later in the week. I think we're gonna find a nice prize for the winner. Hopefully we don't win it, but
I think that'd be nice. Yeah.
We'll try. We'll get the link. We'll get the link posted up on our Twitter at AA Podcast, and we'll throw it up on the website as well. So if you guys are interested, definitely hit us up. we'd love to have you in the tournament. Hoping to get a decent amount of people, and like I said, we'll come up with something. I know Ace has a lot of he's moving soon, so he's getting rid of a lot of his worldly possessions. So I heard he has an Xbox. Yeah. He has an Xbox just lying around that we could give away possibly.
No.
A Kia Stinger. I heard Kia Stinger. Is there a car prize?
Oh God, you're right. I should stop divulging all of that. The last thing I'll say about March Madness is Selection Sunday is this Sunday conveniently, so brackets will be out post that. Most likely next Monday it'll be up on the website and we can post it out on Twitter. That's when they'll have the brackets to complete. Now,
yep. And we might even do it earlier, like a mini episode, just to kind of talk about March Madness, some of our expectations, some teams to watch, and advertise our little project. But that's good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. March Madness, this was right at the point where we were getting concerned and people started talking about. Who is it? The 2 Utah Jazz players that got it right away.
Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell. Mitchell.
Yeah.
So they're like joking about it, and they got it. And it's like, oh God, what's this gonna do? And all of a sudden, we just done. So I'm so thankful because
everything.
Last March was rough because everything was gone. I lost my XFL, which heartbreaking.
All of the basketball teams, the Badgers, the Gophers, were literally, I think, had games the next day that would just everything's shut down.
Yeah, and that was for the conference tournament too, because my fiance and I went to the last Badger home game senior night, and then I think it was like 3 days later they got their schedule, and then they were supposed to play, and then they got canceled. So, man, it is good. 2021, we're getting sports. Yes, I'm pumped. We got some March Madness, but. That's our episode, man. I appreciate you guys for listening. Ace, thank you so much for all you do. Your beautiful face, your charming voice, your wonderful wit.
We
haven't mentioned this, but his Quick Six segment has been moved almost exclusively to the website. He's got all of his picks. He kind of chronicles his journeys. It's like his little betting journal, his little betting diary.
It's based off the regional. So if the Bucks are playing, if the Timberwolves are playing, I'll try to pick a couple other teams in that in NBA.
Yeah, you should never follow your home team too much. It can be very.
I love picking those games. That's why I'm doing it. I just wanted to pick only only our teams. Bet on them just to see how I do. It's hilarious.
Well, if you bet against them, you're probably doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that is episode 2 of season 2. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't care how you do it as long as you do. I am Johnny. That is Ace. And we are out.
That's the show for this week. Check out Armchair Analyst on Twitter at AA Podcasts, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. If this wasn't enough, be sure to check out armchairpodcast.com for more. See you next week.